little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard, handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. What I want you to want, what I want you to feel, but it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you. Just believe this is real, so I let go. Watching you turn your back like you always do. Face away, pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here 'cause you're all that I got.
Hello, I'm Kigan. It's kind of interesting that Matthias and I both picked Linkin Park songs because we were going to go to that concert, but it got cancelled. My other master was going to go, we weren't. But okay, let me start off with a poem, and then I'm going to talk about some issues. Okay. It's called Knowledge and Half Knowledge. No, it's called The Free Will Choice to Know. And there's two parts to it. One was written in 98, one was written in 2013. So here's the first part. Knowledge and half knowledge we don't know. We all will learn more as we grow. Life is full of stepping stones, and when we die we turn to bones. Skeletons rotting underground, quietly without a sound. After that, where do we go? Until we get there, we won't know. Knowledge and half knowledge we all could know. Search inside for the lamplights glow. The key to knowledge awaits within, and when half knowledge dies, we're born again. So all that knowledge, we came here to learn, take in knowledge. We observe our cat, and she's always very curious about everything. Naturally, she's taking in knowledge too. Now, you all want to talk. I find this very important to talk about. I cannot prove it. I don't know if it's true, but because I've recently become aware of it, I think it's important to talk about. Hold on a sec. Okay. In the Alfred Webre's book, Dimensional Ecology of the Omniverse, he mentions in this page that it says in outline format, the dimension-based typology of intelligent civilizations in the exopolitical dimensions of the Omniverse is as follows. Sorry. Is as follows. Can't grab the book and the camera at the same time, so I'll just read it. In the outline format, the dimension-based typology of intelligent civilizations in the exopolitical dimensions of the Omniverse is as follows. Intelligent civilizations. Solar system civilizations based in the time-space dimension, such as our human civilization here on Earth, and the intelligent human civilization living under the surface of Mars, that reportedly enjoys a strategic relationship with the United States government. And now, if this is the case, we don't even know if there are people being held there against their will. And I think this needs to be talked about and studied further, because how can we prove it? I really am upset and disheartened to know this. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think it's important that we talk about it to get it out there so people know and look into it. I can't imagine being held prisoner inside of a planet that people don't believe has any life on it. But it's possible, and if that's the case, we need to really talk about it and make a stir, because if there are people being held there against their will, that's not good. And we need to break them out and give the freedom that they deserve. Okay, a different topic I want to talk about. was this ridiculous talk and all the fighting about gay marriage. It's nobody else's business what other people decide to do. So I don't know why people make it their business. But the whole thing is, it shouldn't be about who somebody marries, but people should be asking the question, why do I need anybody's permission to marry whoever I want? Marriage licenses. Why are you allowing them to permit you to get married? That's not freedom. That's ridiculous. So just think about that. That should be the issue with marriage. And also, I want to talk about the false left-right paradigm, red and blue, and how they're used. And a lot of times they like to have it so the man versus woman to divide the family, so the youngsters feel abandoned. And now you have women with the male considered male God, that people consider male, and the woman desiring that, and usually the males try to go with the evolution when we know it's neither one, it's interference theory. So they try to put the man against the woman, and the woman against the man, cause fighting, arguing. Women in God, mainstream allegory, causes jealousy of husbands. Husband's belief in mainstream evolution causes women to feel sadness that man fails to recognize power higher than himself. And also, it was interesting, we saw a TV program, and it showed the woman had a red background and the man had a blue background. So, yeah, that's another game that they play, so children can fall into the hands of whatever. That's what they like. They want the woman to work, so the child goes to school and gets taught lies, like we know, and all that great stuff, which is ridiculous. I think that's about it, what I had to say for now, but I'll read another poem. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Here's a good one. It's called Remembering Who You Are. If you want to know your maker, then find your higher self. You are part of the one of creation that made a choice to divide itself. So much division, so many different nations, so much war and bloodshed, such dire situations. Why did you ever divide yourself? You are perfect the way you were. Perhaps your loneliness plagued you, and your mind became a blur. But we have found the universal love that earth planted. What? Oh, hold on. Let me start again. It's called Remembering Who You Are. If you want to know your maker, then find your higher self. You are part of the one of creation that made the choice to divide itself. So much division, so many different nations, so much war and bloodshed, such dire situations. Why did you ever divide yourself? You were perfect the way you were. Perhaps your loneliness plagued you, and your mind became a blur. We have found the universal love that was planted in Earth's heart, and we are grateful for all that you sacrificed so we could build our own unified part. Yes, we think that it was one big creative force, the source of God, and it wanted to, or she, I think it's in the higher dimensions, male and female is not that's like a constraint here, but the higher dimensionals are not either. But when they incarnate, they figure out what they're going to be. But sometimes, usually when they incarnate, it's nature picks the sex. So that's another thing we were talking about, of people who believe they were born in the wrong body, because that can happen, and because I think it's a roll of the dice when they incarnate. But so I hope you enjoyed that poem, and I'll see you next week.
Insecure, a little unconfident, cause you don't understand. I do what I can, but sometimes I don't make sense. I am, you never want to say, but I'll never have a doubt. It's like no matter what I do, I can't